Hello, my name is Cassandra McNeil, and I am a candidate in the EDLD Principal Program at Lamar University. For my observation, I have chosen video option number 1 of the Practicum Plan Log. This standard addresses the learner-centered values and ethics of the leader by observing a teacher and a classroom through the lens of an administrator. Noting the colleagues' attention to learning differences, multicultural awareness, gender sensitivity, and ethnic appreciation. This is a fundamental skill of an administrator that must be developed over time. With the help of my mentor, I feel that this activity will help me to develop into an effective administrator. I will observe Ms. Chapa, a 3rd grade bilingual teacher. I have met with Ms. Chapa, and she will be teaching a math lesson over the Math-TEAC 5E, which states that the student will represent real-world relationships using number pairs in a table and verbal descriptions. Ms. Chapa stated that she will use real-world objects to complete a function table. The school district promotes a dual language program, which allows our English as a second language students to have a week of instruction in English and a week of instruction in Spanish. For this lesson, Ms. Chapa will use the majority of her instruction in English and only use Spanish to make clarifications. Ms. Chapa is a veteran teacher and has received the honor of Teacher of the Year. I am very excited to be a guest in her classroom. I observed a teacher in her classroom through the lens of an administrator, noting the teacher's attention to learning differences, multicultural awareness, gender sensitivity, and ethnic appreciation. Her activity was well thought out and organized. It was apparent that she had spent time prior to the lesson preparing. She began the lesson by stating her objective and gained the attention of the students by using a real-life object. She showed the students a starfish has 5 legs. She entered this information into an input-output table. She then went on to allow students to make connections with 2 starfish times 5 legs, and 3 starfish times 5 legs, and 4 starfish times 5 legs, and 5 starfish times 5 legs. During the modeling portion of the lesson, she allowed the students to notice the patterns that were created. Also, I noticed that she used application level questions like, how many legs do 2 starfish have? Or, what happens if I add another starfish? Based on the level of rigor for this TEAC, the application level questions seemed adequate. Once the teacher was finished modeling the lesson, the students went back to their seats to start a group activity. During the transition, the teacher reinforced positive behaviors. It was obvious that the teacher has clear expectations and procedures the students should follow. The entire class got straight to work with little to no issues. In order to support learning differences, she allowed the students to find a partner with the same bug. Once they found their partner, they were allowed to add to their input-output tables. For instance, if they had 1 bug with 6 legs, the problem was 1 times 6. And if they had a partner with the same bug, the problem would be 2 bugs times 6 legs. And they continued on until they had a group of 4. I thought this was a great idea because it allowed students who were struggling to have support from their peers. The teacher did a great job of being aware of multicultural differences and ethnic appreciation. When the students went to work independently, she clarified directions in Spanish to support their language development. She also evenly distributed questions and responses between boys and girls. I thought an example of their group work would have been a bit helpful for the students to see. There seemed to be quite a bit of questions on what her expectations were for their independent work to look like. Once the students completed the activity, she had them come back to the carpet and discuss what they had learned. She provided an English sentence stem for them to use when answering her question. The students seemed to have a hard time formulating a response to the stem. Perhaps several sentence stems, scaffolding them from an easier sentence stem to a harder sentence stem might have helped them for their final sentence. She did offer support to the students if they struggled to complete the sentence stem. During her lesson closing, a small group of students entered the room. One of the students was very concerned about receiving a bug like the rest of his classmates. He kept interrupting her and asking her the same question repeatedly. The teacher maintained her composure, spoke respectfully, and attempted to reassure the student that he would receive a bug just like the rest of the class. To end the lesson, Ms. Chapa referred the students back to her objective. She asked the students, how do we use real-life relationships? They explained that the real-life relationships came from the bugs and their legs. Then she asked the students how did they use this in a table. They explained that they used their input and output table to complete using a table. I thought this was a great idea because the students were able to evaluate their objective and if they accomplished their objective. I would have added a quick way to assess the students' understanding. They were given time to practice the skills, but it was not evident if they mastered the task completely. In conclusion, the lesson was well developed. As an administrator, I will continue to grow by observing teachers and their ability to engage students while facilitating lessons. Thank you.